Well, we're sitting here and Douglas is starting to talk and I can see him getting all revved up. And I know you're going to want to hear this AIM-CAT. So now you can continue. The recorder is on.
You will hear this first and you will not hear it anywhere else. But you will not hear it last. You know what? Trump is actually getting out of Ukraine. All the oil that the Bidens tried to get. Remember, there's two of the largest oil fields in the world that are untapped. George Soros went in and joined one of the companies, not Navarro, but anyway, I forget the names of the companies, but Burisma controlled who got the oil. And so the whole deal with Ukraine, and the reason there were two color revolutions, was for the oil. Now, not only for the oil that's in the ground that has never been touched, but also now they're calling them rare earth minerals. No, they're not. They're titanium, they're lithium, and they're graphite, three of the most important substances in modern science. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much coal there, it's ridiculous. Once they start to plant again, which will be a couple years, they'll become the breadbasket of Europe again. But it's the oil fields, and it's the three pipelines across Ukraine, the pipeline across Belarus that was blown up and never reinstated, the Nord Stream 1 and the Nord Stream 2. Okay, that's what this is all going to be about. And then they're going to try to leverage Crimea. They're going to try to leverage Moldova. They're going to try to leverage all these different places, right? Georgia. They're going to try to leverage the Donbass. They're going to try. But Zelensky's an idiot. He already took the buyout. Remember, we calculated that $271 billion are missing, and he demanded $250 billion. So he has them. And who do we send over there? The Secretary of Commerce or something to see if he could get any of the money back. It's gone. What do you mean? It went straight to Cyprus, to an offshore account. That's the way it worked. At the end, remember, throughout most of this war, they didn't have weapons, ammunition. Their Azov battalion was completely destroyed in just the very beginning of the battles. They didn't take any Russian land. The only time they ever used anything, it had freshly been sent there. They sent the drones out. They sent the missiles out the next day, and then they had nothing. But hey, Kiev was never bombed, right? We had the G7 leaders from Lithuania, Latvia, and other countries there. Everyone has gone there. All of the politicians from Washington, D.C., everybody flies in like there's no war going on. So if you didn't know that this is all part of the old plan, which is kabuki theater and political bad entertainment, geophysical entertainment on the earth, and that we have, a Cold War with Putin, or that Putin doesn't like Germany. Germany hates Putin. What do you mean? They did all their deals behind the European Union's back, Germany and Russia. They've been in bed the whole time. Who didn't know that? All you have to do is look at the flow of money, okay? So Trump is going to get, now mind you, this is really very ironic. The money that Pelosi's nephew wanted, the money that Mitt Romney wanted, the money that George Soros wanted, all from oil deals, the money that the Orange Revolution, the Maidan Revolution happened, Poroshenko got kicked out, they deposed three presidents in a row and then put in a CIA agent who's really, of course, a British CIA agent, because when you say CIA, you say British. And they use British commandos. As a matter of fact, Trump let it slip in the talk with Starmer. He made Starmer wait 2 days because he met with the gay representative of the European Union, Macron, who's married to a man, and who kept putting his hands all over Trump. I mean, it was disgusting watching that interaction. And then in the end, Macron just bent over, put his lipstick on and bent over. And then Trump just took him to town and basically said, no, you are not going in under NATO to Ukraine. You're not going in for peacekeeping. You're not going in. And if you do go in, you're going to go in with a unified European group of people. And by the way, we're going to be there digging up the oil, drilling for the oil and digging up all the resources. Because this time, you guys are getting all your money paid back. Starmer tried to say, oh, no, some of the money was in grants. He overrode Trump's statement to the press when Trump said, our $350 billion that Biden gave him, and we don't even know where all that money came from yet. And I kept saying, where's all the money Biden's getting? No, they'd already given him all the money. To his last day, Biden was still giving millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to Zelensky, right? Where'd it come from? When that's found out, then hopefully we'll see the first president hang on Washington, right out in front of the Capitol, hopefully. And it'll be on television because I don't want to go. But the deal is that Trump is going to go in, and all that they fought over, all that, what was her name? Who was the head of the State Department? The ugly, fat
Loretta?
Pig.
Loretta Lynch?
No, she said, I spent $4.5 billion in Ukraine. I'm not going to lose it now. That was her.
Victoria?
Yeah, Nuland. Nuland and her gang. Remember the gang that tried to impeach him over Ukrainian call? Every one of those people admitted at the least that was missing was $4 billion. No, they hadn't counted the $27 billion that the World Bank had given them through the IMF. They hadn't counted all this money that they had got. So when they turn back on the 3 pipelines, Ukraine becomes, again, one of the richest countries in that area. When they dig up the oil, they become they're going to be like with Turkmenistan, okay? Or they're going to be like, where's the place they get all the uranium from? Just below Russia. Anyway, there were 15 countries in the USSR. 14 of them we stole from them. Ukraine is one. That Russia wants it back because it's always been their capital. Kiev has always been their capital. That's why they didn't bomb it, folks. And that's why they walk around in front of a green screen to act like they're walking through Kiev and nobody's got a helmet on, nobody's got anything. There's no sirens ever going off. There's never any fighting in Kiev. Yeah, right. No, that was part of the agreement. When Zelensky went to Belarus for the first peace talks, remember, he didn't enter the room, but he left with a briefcase. That was his payoff. But then he wanted more. Like all good oligarchs, he demanded more. So he has been playing Hunter Biden through Burisma because Burisma controlled the 2 oil companies. And at one point they were sold, those fields, the rights of those oil fields were sold to American companies. And then they got knocked off. And then George Soros came in and a British company came in. And so this is nothing more than the same old oil deals we're seeing in the Gaza Strip, in Golan Heights. You see it everywhere. Wherever there's oil, the same old routine happens.
But what I see when I look at all of this is President Trump isolating the British more and more, even with his recent statements that you just were describing to me by putting Keith Starmer in his place, saying, no, we're not going to let Ukraine be a member of NATO. And, to the other reporter, Britain can take care of itself. It doesn't need the United States' help.
Zelensky is he's going to die of some venereal disease. Mark my words, when he dies, I'll be long dead. But someone go to my grave and say, Doug, you were right. He died of the worst form of venereal disease there is. Why? Because he's a prostitute. Always has been. He's a performer who came right out of being a prostitute.
Okay. The thing that's interesting me right now at this time that I'm recording this is Thursday, February 27th at 2:53 p.m. So things could change. Things change so rapidly. I am watching this whole Epstein file drop and watching this hot potato being passed around. Of course, during the election season, we heard that the files would be released, and everybody's excited that they're finally going to see the naughty list. And I don't mean to make light of this, but really, at this point in time, who doesn't know who's on the Epstein flight list? However, when Kash Patel was promoting himself to be the FBI director, and as we know in the cat world, we know that Kash Patel is a Crown agent, and he wanted that FBI position to protect the Crown's position at the FBI, which is just a front for British Five Eyes. Okay, so we all know this. But he had to get over there to protect the British interest. Then we have Pam Bondi, and I'm sorry, I really don't think that highly of her. Of all the attorneys out there, this woman has already demonstrated through her previous work in Florida that she isn't really to be trusted trusted, or at least her work isn't really that good. But anyway, she's in the position she's in, and she's been saying the files, these Epstein files, are on her desk. Well, they are still on her desk. The desk is still sitting there with the Epstein files, and nobody's saying anything. And now that Cash is in the FBI, he stopped talking about the Epstein files. So today I'm looking at the news. Pam Bondi still hasn't released this, but I see a letter here to Director Patel from Cash, from Pam Bondi, stating that she doesn't have all the files, and she demands that the FBI release all the files on tomorrow morning, February 28th. Well, now, does it surprise you? The FBI has got to keep those files from everybody, and Cash isn't going to do these files, even though he told you he'd do it on day one. And Pam Bondi, she doesn't seem to be able to get the files. And then, most bizarre thing, I saw a little video. I don't think you've seen this yet, Douglas. All these people coming out of the side entrance of the White House holding up these 3 ring binder notebooks, with the paper that you put in the front telling you what this is, and they are holding it, and it says the Epstein files. I mean, give me a break. Was that a photo op or what? What in the heck is going on? The way I liken this is, remember that time Elon Musk sent out an email to all the federal workers and said, you need to ping me back on this email so I know that you exist, kind of proof of life for government employees. That's the way I feel about these Epstein files now. I don't really care what's in them. Personally, me, I don't care. But I want to see an official in the government produce the files. We've asked them, we've insisted, and they're still not producing it. I think they both need to be fired if they can't produce the files.
Well, I'm glad you showed me this letter, because this is Bondi covering her butt, telling Cash, yeah, all you sent me was the flight logs. Everyone's seen those. What did I just say yesterday? I just told you that that's all she has, right? And what did I say right after that? We need to have a raid on Chris Wray's office, because that's where you will find what it says right here in this letter, that she is demanding of Cash Patel to please send the documents. Let me get the exact words, because these are the exact words that I said yesterday. The videos, the documents, and the recordings, and then all materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, because they were held by that judge in Florida. Remember the judge in Florida that tried his case and swept everything under the rug? That's because he gathered all the videos together. That's where all the evidence got disappeared. Got disappeared a long time ago. Long before the FBI went to Epstein's island, that all went into court proceedings in Florida. And I thought everybody knew this. Of course you're not going to get those recordings. They aren't in the possession of the FBI. So Cash Patel, want me to tell you what will be in Cash Patel's letter tomorrow? Cash Patel will say, I don't have those here. Gee, you want to come over and look through the drawers with me? Because maybe Chris Wray took them with him. I don't know. Anyway, they're not. That's because Cash is an idiot, okay? So they are in Florida, and they need to be released. Now, can they be released? You'll have to take some action, and then what are you going to do? You're going to open up the evidence vault, or cage, as it usually is, and they will be missing.
Yeah, but the thing is Bondi, in the last few interviews I've seen with her on television, she's talking about how, that's a shocking list. You wouldn't believe who's on there, but we have to be very careful because they're innocent people. We have to protect them. She was just giving us a bunch of bullshit, because her letter right here says to the FBI, you haven't given us all the files. So I'm really put off that Bondi is not being honest with us, and I want to know who's going to produce these files. And if they can't produce them, President Trump, they need to be fired.
Monumental lies and alibis. That's why Bill Clinton came out and gave his the other day. And that's why everybody's rushing forward, because why? Trump's name is on that list. He hung out with Epstein all the time. We have lots and lots of pictures of him with the young girls that when he was asked, didn't you know Epstein? He goes, yeah, I knew him. It's like a casual social arrangement. But you know what? He liked those young girls. He said that in public on record many times. So he's obviously innocent. The last thing he would do is say, yes, he set me up with innocent girls, young, illegal, innocent girls. And so he's innocent. But Bill Gates came out and started making his own apologies and said that he actually regretted ever going there, and so on and so forth. I expect Hillary will come out any second because she was one of the top people on the list. So was Bill. And remember, he didn't go to Epstein Island. He was on the list more than anybody because he was up in the air. If you have no jurisdiction in the air, then it's not even illegal and you can't be prosecuted in America for it. So he was smart. And he always left his security detail behind. Going back to Zelensky. Zelensky demanded not long ago that if he couldn't get in NATO and if America wouldn't give him the $250 billion he demanded and they wouldn't give him the weapons to defend himself, he demanded to have a nuclear weapon. That's the insanity that Trump is dealing with. Then he's dealing with the most experienced dictator in human history, Vladimir Putin. So he's a very clever person, but look, he got trounced, didn't he? And his own mercenary general turned on him. He's thrown so many people out the window and blown them up since this war started. It's ridiculous. So what will we get? We're going to get a good laugh because you see Germany, who just turned on us and basically sounded as if they were going to, be our enemy. I mean, that's what the newly elected chancellor was acting like. Okay, that's what he said. And that he was sending in NATO troops and sending in his troops and French troops. And then when Trump said, you send in NATO, that's it, 100% tariffs on you too, just like everybody else. And then what did they do? Then they said they're going to send the German and the French troops. And then Macron got to the White House. And Macron didn't even need to get bitch slapped because he's such a happy little bitch, that he then did exactly what Trump said and agreed. There'll be no sending in any troops for any reason whatsoever. That's what was agreed on. And then Starmer came in and he again diminished the British, laughed at them, made jokes about them during it, and actually made some remarks that insinuated that our relationship with them is on the edge, even though Starmer started in saying, we've always had the best relationship. The Anglo-American relationship is the best relationship in human history. And blah, 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 blah. He says, yeah, we've always been there. And what did Trump say yet? He said it in a way that was sarcastic. He goes, yeah, we have always been there for each other, haven't we? In other words, in this time, we're not together, are we? He said a number of things which were all implied to basically put the Pilgrims in their place.
So is he suggesting that there would be an end to the special relationship we have with the United Kingdom?
Yes, because when he was asked point blank, would we defend the British if they were in Ukraine for any reason, whether under NATO auspices, their own auspices, peacekeeping auspices, or other auspices, what did Trump say? No, we don't need to. They can stand on their own. They don't need any of our help. We are going to be digging there. That's going to be our deal. That's a shared resource now. So, of course, we will be involved, he said it again and again. We will be involved in anything going on in Ukraine. Why? Because he has to stop the corruption. Even the United Nations voted Ukraine the number one corrupt country in the world over and over and over and over again, said, don't do business there. They are the party in the regions. That's the party that supported the Nazis. Zelensky is a Nazi. That's what Putin calls him.